You're back. Welcome. Well, we've made a few changes since we were last here. Sorry for the delinquency on not keeping up with the posts. Quite a few things changed in the last week, and I just wasn't able to keep up with the videos. So let's summarize what I've done in the last few days. So here we go. So one of the first things you're going to notice is the framing changes. We put in a 4x6 header, jack studs, king studs, and cripples now. So things look a lot more appropriate. It was decided to go ahead and put a little more money into this thing to make it a little cleaner and to make sure it passes no inspection. So we went ahead and did that. Took me a little while. I also added a second top plate all the way around. Now that was kind of a chore. Ended up coming through, lifting up the roof with 3 different jacks in different locations, carefully marking each stud, all 3 sides, and then using a cordless skill saw to start my cut so that it was perfectly 90 degrees from the face here, and then using my multi-tool, fine tool, depending on who you talk to finish off the cut. From there, went ahead and just slid it up in there, nailed it off at each stud, nailed it up into the top plate. We also back pulled the wires. We're gonna have to reconfigure the plumbing. The drain used to come up right through here on this stud, so now I'm gonna have to move it over into the middle of the bay, but we're okay because there's a trailer rung that's over about here, and then we'll see what happens. The electrical I'm not gonna put back until it passes no inspection. So let me show you some more real quick. Come on, let's go. So we went ahead and bonded the cold water because we don't have hot plumbed in here and we don't have gas, so we can't bond the hot, the cold, and the gas. What we have to do is bond the trailer to the water. So we've got a bond clamp. In this case, it's a piece of number 4, but number 8 is what's required for 30 amps 110. Ran it through the bottom plate, out through the bottom of the trailer, and let me show you how I connected it underneath. So here's the connection from the outside. You saw it drop down out the bottom plate over there. It comes down along the trailer. Now, you have to bond it to the trailer, but I don't want to drill in through the frame because I don't want to compromise its integrity. So I went through the support for the tank. Down here is an eye connector. I pre-drilled a hole, came in and sanded off the paint. Then I put on some dielectric grease to prevent it from rusting and to make sure that it's got a good connection. Coated the connector, coated the screw, ran a self-tapping screw through here to make its own threads. Now it's very secure. It's coated in grease so that it's never going to rust or get any oxidation that might prevent it from doing its job. So this is the same hold down you're going to see in a residential house. Got a bunch of 10D Simpson nails holding it in here. This all 5/8 all thread goes through the bottom plate, through the subfloor, and through the frame. No one wants a minimum of 1/2 inch, but 5/8. It was easy to get. I like to go a little overboard. So in addition to this, up top you have to add some PS2 Simpson hangers. So you tie the top plates to these studs also, keeping everything from ever separating if it's going down the road. Because we were like, a lot of times I hear, well, it's not very windy where I live. Well, it is windy when you tow this thing. You're hitting at least 50-mile-an-hour winds, if not more. In addition to like some sort of headwind, who knows what you got. So the option that I really, really like myself though is something similar, but you don't use this hanger. Use the same all thread nuts, but continue it all the way up through the blocking, all the way up through both top plates. Before you put the roof on, you run that all thread, so you're gonna get a super long piece. And up top, you're gonna put a 3x3 washer, same on the bottom, a lock washer, and a nut. And then go ahead and tighten everything up, but make sure it's dry. If you're not sure if it's dry, either buy kiln dried lumber, or when you get to dry in, if it's warm and dry like it is right now every day, I open the windows and the doors and I run a fan on low, and I keep the air moving in here. That'll dry it out, but it'll take a while. The other option you can do is close the door, close the windows, and for a couple of days, try and keep the place sealed up the best you can and run a dehumidifier. The nice part about a dehumidifier is you can monitor how much moisture is coming out of everything. And you'd probably be really surprised that I was the first time I ever dried a house and went, wow, that's a lot of water. When you start to see the amount of water that's emptying into the tray diminish, you know this place is dry. So at that point, go ahead and back the nuts off, put in some Loctite and tighten them down nice and tight to where it sounds almost like a guitar string without bowing or breaking any of your framing or any of your tie downs. So let me show you up top what's next though. So now we're back over to this wall again. So here's an image of the hanger we're going to install. Now what happens is the hanger nails into both top plates and then comes down the stud and nails into the stud, tying everything together. The only quandary I still have that I haven't talked to Noah about is how exactly I'm going to get one over that hanger. Are they going to let me drill through one hanger into the other and nail them both on at the same time? Well, because normally these H1s go on the exterior of the building, and then you put your top plate ties in on the inside. But we can't really do that because the roof is only the width of the trim and the shingles pass the roof on all sides. So that's not really going to happen so well. Let me show you some more. So one of the difficulties we've run into is that this roof doesn't have ventilation for doing rigid foam or fiberglass. Because it wasn't put in during the framing process before the roof went on, we're not going to be able to do it safely. When I say safely, it's because condensation will build up inside the walls. So it needs a chance to be able to breathe so that any moisture that gets in there can leave without just staying up in there and causing mold, mildew, or making your sheetrock fall or anything else. We don't want any part of that. So what we're actually going to do in here is we've changed our minds. All the foam has come out of here and going to be reused on another project. But what we're going to do is spray foam in here. Not only are you going to get a higher R value, resistance to water infiltration on the inside, but it's going to be really, really warm or cold depending on the season in here. Quick, simple. The only thing that I'm not real fond of is I'm going to have to get a very, very good respirator and a lot of airflow in here because the off-gassing on that stuff is extremely bad for you. So I've done it before, but the last one, even though I had a charcoal respirator, wasn't quite enough, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do this time, but I'll keep you posted on what I do. So if you look around in this house, if you were here with me, you would notice this Tyvek tape, little pieces of it all over the place. Where that my hammer or pry bar nicked the Tyvek, I went ahead and covered in Tyvek tape. I don't want to give the water any way to get in through the Tyvek, so a roll's not that expensive. It only takes a few minutes to put it in. An ounce of prevention, pound of cure.